Recording. All right, what's up, guys? We're here at Walton Raceway with Tanner Ward. Just finished up round 2 of the Rockstar Triple Crown. Just here to talk to Tanner about his weekend, and maybe we can even talk about Gopher Dunes. We had a bit of an experience there, but Also here with Chris. Glad he came out to be my mechanic this weekend and last weekend, so that's pretty cool. Get the Bent Methods crew rolling on the road, so got the outdoor operation. So if there's any like wind or bugs, sorry for that, but
it's a different environment.
Not in our home studio, so
making the best of the situation.
Right. Just like on the racetrack, you just got to make do with it. We found that out this weekend. Right?
Yeah. So how was your weekend, Tanner?
It wasn't my best weekend, but it was okay considering kind of how I was feeling still from Gopher. But 4.44, I ended up 4th overall, and I guess we'll just get rested up and look forward to Walton too.
Yeah, probably not the results you wanted for, especially in that last moto, because you were running second for a long time. Like, you were even just like Pettis was right in front of you, kind of reeling him in a bit, and then you kind of pull it out and you reel back in. And even like right at the end of the moto, it was like 4 of you guys were like all within like maybe 3-4 seconds. So like maybe not the result you wanted, but at least you were like right in the thick of things and ready to like pretty much challenge for the lead there.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what the team and I looked at after the race was, man, I'm there. Obviously, like you said, not the result I want, but in this sport, it's not really good. I mean, anything in life, to be honest, it's not good to look at the negatives. It's you always want to look at the positives and see what we can work on, and obviously just get rested up. I'm still wasn't 100%. Just honestly, each moto, like, I did get better, but just I hit a wall, and I ended up getting heat stroke at Gopher, and then each moto this weekend it got better. So hopefully with a little bit more rest, and I think we'll be good for Walton too.
So how is that mud moto? Pretty gnarly. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not totally bummed. I wasn't out there for like as much as I want to be out there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if there's a race not to race, this is the one. At least I'm not blowing a bike up or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was tough, especially just because they didn't want to push off the mud, just because I guess they wanted to keep the track as best it could be for the week for here the Transcan.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It was didn't play out in our favor like for us pros, but it's probably honestly some of the trickiest conditions I've ever rode. It just every lap the lines change, and the track got better as the race went on, but some sections actually got worse just because, like, I feel like we were bringing moisture back up, and they were just so unpredictable. And before the rollers, there's like you literally just held back and just hoped you made it through the mess. And there's like, but it was all right. It was I definitely don't want to do that again. But I blame you. You tweeted that we were going to get a mudder, so it's your fault.
Like, there's no way we're gonna race 3 days in Walton and not have a mudder. It's like. Yeah. Almost every year it seems like it thunderstorms the night before, the day before. Yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be a little better because like 2018 it kind of did the same thing, but like you said, they pushed the mud off that year, and the track actually was probably one of the funnest tracks I've rode here. And then they just ripped it deep, and it was so deep. I went out for practice and I was like, I did one lap. I'm like, man, I don't know if my bike's gonna make it.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, like, I see their part, like I see why they gotta do what they gotta do, but unfortunately they just kept tilling it deeper and deeper, and I wouldn't say they actually tilled it deeper. They kept using like that little finger thing they got, but it would have been nice to get some stuff scraped, but I mean, we're professional riders for a reason. Gotta handle each situation how it comes.
That's right. So when you woke up yesterday morning, were you excited for the mud, thinking it's opportunity, or
I feel like mud races, everyone kind of feel the same, and just like it almost takes a little pressure off. You're just like, whatever happens. It's mud. Like, just kind of do the best we can, and but still in the back of the mind, or you're kind of still nervous because like things could go bad quick.
Yeah.
So
a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong,
but a lot of opportunity for things to go right. So it's definitely a mix of emotion, but just try to treat it as another race, and just do your best, I guess.
Yeah, I think like being calm in a mud race is totally key because you like as soon as you're tense and like you're thinking about like don't screw up here, don't screw up there, then like that's when you're gonna crash all over the place. And
exactly, like yesterday I was in the mud moto. I was like third the most of the moto, and then as soon as I got caught behind lappers, got frustrated, and I ended up actually hitting one, getting stuck, and then like 3 corners later went down, got back up a lap later, went down. So just like, I mean, things happen quick, and you got to stay calm, which I didn't. And then once I got back going, I was good. But I mean, 3 crashes in the mud, you're not getting up quick, and so
bikes were heavy too. This mud here is so heavy. It's like
I actually crashed going up to the finish line, and if anyone's ever been to Walton, like when it's muddy, that finish line is like it's super hard and slick, and trying to lift my bike up and like my feet are sliding, like I was like, why? Like, but it is what it is.
I thought you were gonna say something. No. So let's go back to Gopher a bit. So so you were riding pretty well at Gopher, and then you had like you got heat stroke, or you thought you maybe didn't have enough electrolytes or something like that.
Yeah, it's still like I'm still a question mark on it. It kind of funneled down. Talked to a nutritionist. I got blood work done actually, and all my blood work looked fine. It just kind of funneled down. I drank a bunch of distilled water. I didn't know I was drinking that. And,
really?
Yeah. So it kind of just flushes your system, and it's not something like those minerals and electrolytes aren't something you get back by in a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
So I think I mean I haven't been that's the answer, but the nutritionist I talked to said like he wouldn't look anywhere else. Like he's saying that's the answer. So I mean it makes sense, which what he explained to me and everything. So it's just trying to get my body to rest and get it ready to go out and like do motos like that yesterday. And it's still like it takes a couple of weeks just to get back to your normal self, and then meanwhile try and just rest. And as you probably know, us athletes, it's like it's hard just to like be grind, and then you be told just to go sit on the couch. It's like no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. But it's tough. So so I guess I got to do that again this week. But
did you notice any after effects on the track this week? Like, did it hold you back in your racing at all?
Yeah, totally. I like I explained earlier, each moto got better, but like around the halfway mark, or not exactly obviously halfway, but around the halfway mark, just like more or less my head, just kind of like foggy vision and whatnot, but nothing too serious and nothing that I can't overcome, and we'll be good for next weekend.
Cool.
So you're gonna race the Transcan this week?
I was planning on it, but not too sure. Just gonna I'm signed up right now, so probably practice on Wednesday and then kind of go from there. Just don't want to overdo it going into next weekend.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk about you. How was your weekend?
Oh, it's horrible. Honestly, I don't know what's going on this weekend, but first moto or qualifying was whatever. First moto was I got a good start actually, but then just like that the track was like super kind of one line and funnily, and I kind of took some bad lines in the first couple corners and kind of got shuffled back a bit. Then I ended up going down twice. So I was back in like 25th, came back up, I think I was in 14th on the last lap, landed off the natural double, and I have this thing called skier's thumb. It's the same injury that Baggett had a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So my thumb like snaps back, and it kind of, I don't know, it's like I've had the problem for a little while and it hurts, but it's like a shoulder kind of when it pop it out. It like all the ligaments get stretched.
Yeah.
And then so I landed off the natural double on the last lap, went a little deep, landed on a braking bump, and my thumb just snapped back, hand blew off the bars, tried to get back together and going into the ruts, and then before I knew it, I was over the bars, bike lane on top of me, got back up, and I think I was the last one on the track because I was the last one that didn't get lapped once by the time I got up, so I think I finished 17th or 18th or something like that. And then I tried to ride practice in the morning, couldn't, like maybe I feel like maybe I could have done it if it wasn't so muddy and gnarly, but like with all the like the tension on your hands trying to go through the mud, I just couldn't hold on. So I'm like, we sat and talked about it for quite a while, and like, man, do I just try and go out there and hopefully adrenaline kicks in? But then we're like, is it really worth going out there to like maybe hurt my thumb worse and maybe not be able to race next weekend.
Or blow up a bike.
Yeah, blow up a bike.
Yeah.
Go. I figured I could go out there and ride at 50%, and I'm like, well, is there even a point? Like,
Yeah,
what am I gonna? I could
exactly.
go around and ride in like 15th if my bike doesn't blow up. But yeah, it wasn't ideal. But I mean, everywhere I went and talked to the medics, looking on Google how to treat this. Apparently, you either need surgery or you need to go in a cast for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
don't
like-
want any of that right now.
No, I'm like, man, I just maybe should just rest this for the week, and hopefully I'll be good to go next weekend. It's
Yeah.
like super frustrating though, because I'm like, I just want to go, and it's just like this stupid little injury. It's like every time I clench my fist or try to grab the clutch, it's just like so much pain in my thumb.
Yeah, it's crazy how just like the small things in the sport can make such a big deal,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
like there's big things and they don't bother you, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, that's the most frustrating thing is you got a little thumb injury and you think, oh, I can ride through it. That's what holds you onto the
yeah.
bike.
Hands
Yeah.
are crucial.
Yeah. Same
I
with, or sorry, go ahead.
I give like props to, like Jesse Nelson when he was younger. He actually got his
Yeah,
thumb chopped
that's
off, and he had like,
gnarly.
but I think he still had like a quarter, I don't even know, a little bit of thumb left, but still like he had to relearn how to like hold on and
Yeah.
ride. Like it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, like I figure like I could probably ride with the grip aspect, but it's just like that shooting pain. And I was like, I caught myself in practice. I was riding like with one elbow down, trying to put pressure on like more on my palm, rather than have it go this way. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of being a hazard out there right now.
and
Yeah.
you can literally just hit one bump and go the wrong way if your hands on the bar like that.
Yeah, so it's been a rough start to the season for me. I had a rough weekend at Gopher, down in the first turn, first moto. I rode really well at Gopher. Came back to 12th. Lap times were like in like the 6 to 8 range. So same with second moto. I don't know. Also tried like some different gearing this weekend, trying to get better starts, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't work out at all. I don't know if you guys probably run the stock gearing, but
I don't even know what stock is, but we kind of switched. We were going from 1349, 1350.
oh yeah. So yeah, I put a one tooth bigger on the back, and it just like I didn't like how much it brought the rear wheel forward, and the bike felt bound up, and I didn't like it. So I don't know. You live and you learn, I guess. And
Yeah, that's all the sport pretty much is.
yeah,
If you aren't winning, you're learning.
yeah. Or you're
I
still
mean,
learning if you're
yeah,
winning.
it's just,
I guess.
yeah.
I thought you had something to
Well,
say.
so I was just gonna say before, I'm kind of going backwards here, but it's like the thumb injury. It's like the overhydration, dehydration, whatever happened,
Yeah.
right? It seems so minor, and you should be ready to go this weekend up there winning races again. But it's not so quick and easy like that, is it?
No, especially when you're like, I know I've never been so thankful to have a weekend off, but like still, especially when we're mid-season or whatever, it's you don't got time to like just chill and like take a couple weeks off and then slowly get back into things. It's like 2 weeks off and we're back wide open and have to be at your best, and it's tough, but I mean, like it's motocross.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and
How's the 3-moto format been for you guys?
you can elaborate first.
I don't know. I haven't raced both motos. I haven't raced all 3 motos in either weekend yet, but I don't know. I kind of like it. Other than maybe so much downtime after Saturday, you kind of have a lot of time, and we don't even practice until 10 the next day. So it's kind of, I don't know, that maybe not so much, but I honestly don't mind the 3 motos. I don't find it's any problem like physically or anything like that. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It makes like a full weekend of racing. Gopher was gnarly, but
Yeah.
This weekend wasn't too bad. Yeah, like you said, the downtime was like, I mean, every person I talked to, actually, we had our moto, and every person went and just had a nap. And it was like,
Yeah.
it was just weird because like you obviously don't want to just go sit in the sun, like, and then so we're just all sitting in our trailer doing nothing. So yeah, it's definitely different, but it's pretty cool on Triple Crown's part to like make up for the races and motos that we lost, and I mean, imagine it's awesome for the fans watching on TV. You get to watch 3 motos in one weekend. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, being like 2 rounds in. You're like, oh, we're midway through the series.
Yeah,
It's kind of
going by
weird, but
fast.
yeah, you got to give them kind of credit, the Triple Crown guys, for doing what they've done. It's a lot of guys, well, everyone will rag on them, but they're doing the best they can, so you got to give them credit.
Yeah, not even that, but like just even just the for us to go racing. I seen a little bit behind the scenes stuff at Gopher, obviously just being there, and some of the stuff they had to deal with is, man, it's just like it opens up your eyes. Just, I mean, just with how people did, like how much effort people put in to try and make us not go racing and make these events not happen. It was pretty crazy, but it's cool to see Gopher, Walton, the whole like Triple Crown. Obviously, we're gonna be heading to St. Louis Deschambault here, but cool to see all of them work their butts off and stuff just to get us racing. And I don't know what I would have done if we didn't race this year.
That would have been so weird. You're just like, what are you gonna do? Just pound motos all summer? Like, I don't know.
I was gonna fly out to Calgary. My brother lives in Calgary. Do some downhill mountain biking, but but I prefer racing.
What did you think of having like such a long preseason? Did you kind of enjoy that? Maybe it kind of helped you out with getting on a new bike and.
Yeah, it definitely did. That's when everything was kind of being delayed. We kind of like we're talking as a team and just like if it's gonna benefit any team, it was definitely us because Dylan was new to the 450, Ryder's new to a big bike in pro racing, and me new to the Honda. So if any team, it was definitely beneficial for us. And it was still strange, obviously, because like January, February, even March, you're just like, all right, we're going racing. I think we're supposed to start arena cross in April.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, we're going racing April. We're going racing April. And then middle of March came around. And it was like, oh, I think we might go racing May. We might go racing June. Might go racing July. Yeah. And honestly, by the time when they said we're racing end of July, I didn't believe it till like a week before. I was like, okay, I guess we're racing. Whoa.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it honestly probably helped like with the stress and nerves just because it's like I don't know, it's such a regular routine, especially for me. I live pretty close to Gopher, so I was at Gopher pretty much every day training, so like it was just I got in such a routine of doing the same things over and over. It did get a bit exhausting, but yeah. And then once it was like we're going racing at Gopher, and it didn't. I don't know. It was weird for me because like I'm like nothing's changing. I'm like sleeping in my own bed, and like I'm like it didn't feel like a pro national for me. I don't know if it was because of all the changes with like being so late in the year and just
fans.
The unknown, and or just being close to Gopher and it feeling like a regular day. So I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
Yeah, how's it been lining up with no fans around? Well, I mean, I guess there's still a few people, but
honestly,
has that kind of changed the atmosphere for you guys?
I say the only thing I notice is like between motos or before motos, it's like super chill around the pit and just kind of like normally there's always people walking back and forth and like fans and just like I know like being under the rig, it's just like you're trying to do something and then you gotta run and like like get a picture or whatever. So that aspect, it actually makes it easier for us, I'd say, just because like we focus on doing what we need to do and just a little bit more time just to focus on the moto. But once we're on the line, I imagine he can explain more on this, but just when you're on the line, you're so focused that you're like there could be 1,000 people out there, it could be 10,000, or it could be one. And like as long as like there's a full gate of racers, you're focused, you're gonna just
Yeah, I would agree. It's like it's a little more. I find it a little more chill, but yeah, once you go to the line, honestly, it's zero difference. It's exact same. Just focus on the race. That's pretty much it. But yeah, a lot like it's pretty chill around the pits, and
only difference I guess on the line is just all the mechanics wearing masks.
Yeah.
How do you like that? How do you like wearing a mask when it's 39 degrees out?
I can't complain. You guys are on the track out there putting in real effort, but breathing through that thing when it's 41 degrees like in Gopher there, it's
the air's not thin.
It wasn't fun. There's a few times you step back to the corner, pull it down, take a breath. But I mean, like you said, do what we got to do to go racing. It's what we love. Rather be here than at home. So
yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. Like I was saying before, just seeing it all come together, and I mean, I know there's some people complaining about wearing masks and stuff, but it's cool to see that you're chill about it. You're not complaining.
What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Like wear them or go home.
Yeah, a lot of people like to get angry about it, but like, why are you so angry about it?
Well, it's like getting angry at a mud race. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, I might
either
still
pack up,
angry.
go home, or get on the track.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it is what it is. We're all in the same boat. I think that's kind of why like I feel like most people are getting through everything that's going on in the world too. It's just like we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like it's not like this country has to deal with something and then that country's doing something else. We're all doing this together, and it's not outside of moto too. It's cool to see kind of everything come together, and people, I mean, working hard to get us back to regular life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to go back to the one day format next weekend.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting how you don't have that 3 day or 3 moto format. So overalls are going to be a little different. I mean, not that overall counts for points position, but just different guys might end up on the box because of consistency, right?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of inconsistency. Maybe not with like the top guys, but like past 5, it's like some guy that gets 8th went like 6-14, 20, or like 6-14, 11 or something like that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually I think yeah, like in the 250 class, the top 4 were, I went 4-4-4, Canelo went 3-3-3, Welton went 2-1-2, and Pettis 1-2-1. So like, yeah, pretty consistent. Obviously, I don't want to be where I was, but yeah, behind that, I think who got 6. I know Mackay got 6 in a moto. I think he got like 7th overall, but like, yeah, he went like 14, 6, 10 or something for like 7th or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I might be way off on the result there, but yeah, it's crazy how just like that, how like just like one bad moto can either like put you way back, or like one good moto can help you out so much.
Yeah, for sure. What's it like? How's Dylan? He's crushing it this year. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think anyone predicted him to win the first 6 motos.
No, and I even got asked before how I thought Dylan was gonna do, and I knew he was gonna like win, but I didn't even expect this. I know he was super fast, and to be honest with you, in the off season, riding with him and everything, like it was frustrating. Like I'm like, am I going this slow, or is he going that fast? And even Colton says something. He's like, I'm happy I'm retired. Just like, man, he's ripping, and it's cool to see. He's even just from when I first started racing him in 17, and then now watching him, and like just how much he's changed as a rider, and it's cool kind of being under the 10. And he's obviously been in my shoes and helping me out a lot too. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And
he's been kind of guiding you along a bit then. He's had so much growth as a racer, like more than anyone I can even think of, from like 16 to 17 to 18, like even from last year. Last year he made a ton of growth, and this year I feel like he's even just stepped that up a notch.
Yeah, and between him and Colton, I think he's learned a lot from Colton, and then he's kind of took that like 450 mentor spot from Colton and helping out me. But then obviously I still get a lot of help from Colton. So between the two of them, I honestly couldn't ask for two better guys to be under, and obviously chasing what they've accomplished, and hopefully it all pays off.
Yeah, it's all good tracks for him too. He's good at Gopher, he's good here, he's good at Sandali, he's good at Deschambault. It's perfect for him.
Yeah, for real. It's I mean, it's still super early in the season, but as long as he keeps the ball rolling, I think see him win the championship, that'd be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you excited to go Sandali or Deschambault, or you,
Actually, I am. Me and Keelan have been riding a lot of sand so I almost feel like I'm actually better in the sand than the hard packs now suddenly, which is kind of weird.
As soon as you heard going East Coast, you're head right for the sand dunes, eh?
Yeah, I think we rode. I only rode the Calgary track maybe like 5 times. I don't think maybe 4 times, because it wasn't open for a long time. Then it was members only. I didn't want to buy a membership because we were coming out here, so I'm like, is it really worth buying a membership? Then they finally opened up for like 5 ride passes, so I bought one of those. I don't think I even used it all. But yeah, we've just been riding. There's a couple different sand tracks we've had out there. We've just been motoing down there nonstop. So
yeah, I've seen a couple of Instagram clips. It looks sick.
Yeah,
is it just like is it a track, or just kind of like?
It's like out in the hills. There's no like actual tracks, like no actual sand tracks, but yeah, there's like a couple little spots out in the hills. There's one place like right out in the mountains, out like by Wipers. There's like a bunch of trail riding out there, so we found a little sand track out there. Went out there a bunch. We found this other little place, but then we got booted out of there, fined.
No way.
Yeah, it's in like some oil company or something owns the land, but it's like in the middle of nowhere, farmer's field. You just drive out there. It's like one random sand
warning,
dune.
just straight to the fine, eh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I got
They've been warning guys for a few years, and I think they got fed up finally.
Yeah, the landowner wanted us out there, so yeah, but it is what it is. We got lots of good riding in.
How much was the fine?
What's that?
How much was the fine?
$300 each. So it was me, Dom, and Keelan. They got $900 out of us.
Wow.
It's a good day.
Go open up or buy a field and just have a sand dunes and start charging people.
Yeah.
No, I would never do that to moto.
No.
That sucks.
But I was gonna go somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Sandalia. I feel like Gopher is like kind of an anomaly out of all the. You can't really go anywhere and get anything like Gopher. Even on a practice day, you can't even.
I rode there, like I think the Saturday after like the race, just to ride, and like our backtrack was pretty short. So I just wanted to go see how I felt like after like the race weekend. So didn't want to drive anywhere, so just rode Gopher. And I was thinking, I'm like, you can't even train at Gopher for Gopher.
Yeah.
Nothing is like race day at Gopher or Pro National, and it just. Yeah, like it's nuts.
It's pretty gnarly because they left like a lot of the turns from Saturday, so it was like I felt bad for the girls out there on Saturday morning when they left like a lot of the turns. I'm just watching them just like whoa through a turn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was good. It's a good separator, and you seen a lot of guys. It showed you if you did the work or not. So there's a lot of guys that you could definitely tell they did the work, and some guys are like, oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's it separates the men from the boys, but is. Yeah, I don't even want to go there next year. I'm gonna be freaking dead.
3 moto format on the hottest weekend of the year. Go for it. Let's start the national series there.
Yeah, no warm up, just let's go racing. And like, I think that even made it just a little bit like gnarlier. It's first round, like the intensity's up, the nerves are a little bit higher, and it's not like you've been racing for 4 weeks and then it's just like another round. It's the first round, and as most racers know, it's just like even just anyone that knows racing, like the first round is going to be just a little bit more nerve-wracking, and so drop the gate at Gopher is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, you guys at least had a couple races out here you could do. We had nothing in Alberta.
Yeah, and actually 2 of the 3 races I did was, one was at Gopher, one was here at Walton, and then the other one was at Gopher. So this year definitely, I mean, I think a lot of like years living on the East Coast, like it benefits. It's the East Coast has most of the races, and then now all the races obviously this year out here. So when I saw the schedule, I was pretty pumped. By like being like you or Keelan or anyone from out west, you guys are probably pretty bummed about that.
Yeah, a lot of people like to bitch about it, but I mean, you can't really blame them. I mean, Alberta kind of you couldn't even run a race out there. I don't think if they wanted to with the restrictions they got going on. No. So I mean, what are you gonna do? At least just happy to go racing, like we said.
And
before.
You got to come out east anyways. Like the series comes out here, so you're coming out no matter what.
You're planning on coming out here racing the same amount of venues. Obviously, you're doing more motos or whatever, but still staying. Yeah.
You're kind of getting more bang for your buck right now, right?
Yeah. It's actually, I feel like there's a fair amount of like Western racers. Like I heard Noof was saying actually, or Ryan Lockhart was saying that he thinks this might be like one of the most, like for the amateur national, one of the most like the most Western racers they've ever had, or maybe not ever, but like in the last previous years, that thinks there's gonna be a lot of Western racers. So it's pretty sick to see.
Yeah, well, I guess there's nothing to race back home, so I might as well come out here.
Might as well, and you haven't spent money back home. Like you probably got a fresh race bike, ready to go, ready to ride it. Why not come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I know right before COVID hit, like I feel like everyone's like, it's March, man. That's when you start like getting ready and like getting your race bikes ready, and then obviously COVID hit, and then everyone's got home. You got nothing else to do but work on your dirt bikes.
What changed in your program, training wise, getting ready wise, or did you kind of just stay to the grindstone and just go?
No, we obviously once we realized. It was, like I said before, it's hard. Like, it's like we thought we were going racing in May, and then we thought we were going racing in June, and then July. So, like, when it first, like, obviously the races got pushed back, it just kind of, my down south program just kind of got put into a little bit extra longer before I, like, my last little bit of training before the season. And then yeah, then once we kind of figured out it was going to be like, because at first it was supposed to be like July, start of July we were supposed to start racing.
Like July 7th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, and that came out, I want to say like May?
Yeah, something like that.
No, everything blends together. Like, so yeah, then I just kind of chilled. We took like 3 weeks off the bike, but I was actually talking to Derek. I never really like stopped actually really working out and riding. I was always doing something. I never just like took a break. But yeah, I just kind of, we went like trail riding and just kind of did some fun stuff while we were like on that little more break of like our regular program. But we never really stopped training and riding. But I mean,
gotta stay sharp.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Yeah, but yeah, just kind of step back a little bit. You just kind of stay on your base training until you kind of wait a little bit longer to ramp up your zones and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like we're all in the same situation. It's not like when COVID hit, it's not like everyone was like, all right, now we're going to do this for sure. Like, it's just like, it's a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of just played it by ear. And like, we're with the same trainer, and imagine he was doing the same thing, just kind of just talking to him and just kind of going week by week at that point, just kind of when we're going to race. And just because like there is like a high chance that like if we were keep grinding, like by the time July 25th came around, we were going to be burnt out and done. But
totally,
which with that big of a break, and like I know I went down south like middle of January, and like so middle of January to July of just grinding, practicing, like it's pretty easy to get burnt out. But so
totally.
That 3 week break was pretty crucial, even though like I still did like some workouts and like, but just everything was toned down.
Do you do any like hobbies or anything to make sure you don't get burnt out? Or
I will admit, when I first got home from South and like everything was kind of being pushed back, I did a little bit of gaming.
Gaming? What do you play? Call of Duty?
No, NHL.
Oh, NHL.
I like gaming. It's pretty fun. Like I don't like, it's obviously not like a priority, but it's nice at nighttime after I'm done like all my crap, and then just go home and chill,
disconnect.
play game.
Yeah, I got into gaming. We started playing COD a bit. We played a little bit of Supercross.
Yeah, actually, during COVID, at one point, we had like, I think you can have the max people you can have like in like a Supercross lobby for the game is 12, and we had like 12. One night we had like almost 2 full lobbies, and like it was crazy. But
yeah, you did like a kind of a fundraiser race too, didn't you? I remember. I think I donated to that.
Yeah, and I think I did it in May. So yeah, just we were honestly doing nothing, and then what got the idea started was it's called McFadden's Movement. It's for mental health, and they put on one for NHL that I did, and then I'm like, man, I don't know, I should just do the same thing. I know so many people that play this Supercross game, and then I mean, it really took not much effort, and just raised like I think almost like $1,200 or something, and
that's sweet.
For what, it was like 4 hours of like that night of gaming. So like it was pretty cool, and yeah, it was pretty fun. And obviously I wasn't too sure if I was gonna be able to do my bike ride here at Walton at that time. So I'm like, everyone's at home right now, everyone's gaming. It's a perfect opportunity to at least do something this year, obviously. So yeah, now I get to do both, so it's best of both worlds.
Yeah, so I guess while we're on the topic, let's talk a little bit about your fundraiser you got coming up this Saturday. That's right, Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday, putting on, this will be the second annual. We did it last year as well, but it's just a bicycle ride called Ride With Me, in support of mental health. Teaming up with Walton, which is awesome that they're letting us do this, especially during these times. Them and Tanner Steffer Foundation. Yeah, just putting on a bike ride, just kind of getting everyone together, and obviously the main goal is to raise awareness for mental health. Yeah, as most of you probably know, 2 years ago, lost my brother due to suicide. So at the time, knew I needed to do something with I don't know the word, like the pull I have in the sport. I knew just even us racers, man, we deal with a lot of adversity, and it's hard on our mental health. And So I knew definitely need to do something, and so almost would have been almost 2 years ago, at the end of 2018, Melody from Walton, her and I got in touch, and came up with a ride with me, which is perfect. So day before Walton, and the reason I really love it being here at Walton is because this was my brother's favorite track. He was here every year for the Trans-Can. He was running around corner, and so it's pretty special to have it here. So, and then we're actually doing a raffle as well. So we got like a pressure washer, Atlas brace. Got some people donate some like gas cards. Last year we did it was an auction, but this year with just everything with the COVID, just to keep less people from being in one area, the raffle was a lot easier, and it's going to be announced online. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and I'm stoked to do it.
Sweet. So where can people go to check it out, or donate, or buy a raffle ticket?
So I actually haven't posted anything about the raffle yet. I'm doing that today, but just on my Instagram, it's called Racing for Mental Wellness. All the donations this year are just going to be e-transferred or cash. The e-transfer is racing for, like the number 4, racing for mental wellness at gmail.com.
Okay, we'll put a link up on the Instagram and the YouTube.
Perfect.
So people can get on that.
And then so for the ride, if you guys are here at Walton, it's we're maxed out at 75 people just because we can't. That's all we can have for with COVID. But I think right now we're 40 people signed up, so cool. 35 spots left, and then. So yeah, it's $50 for that, and then a raffle ticket's $20. So if you're email transferring for the bike ride, you just have to put your name and then the $50, and then if it's for the raffle, it's $20, or if you want to buy however many, you just have to put the quantity and your name and phone number, and then if you win, you get called. We're gonna do the draw on Saturday, probably after the awards of the. Before the awards for the
amateurs.
Yeah, amateurs. So, and then obviously if you're on site, you want to do cash for the bike ride, you just have to email that just to reserve your spot. I know it's not ideal. I was hoping to have my website up by now, but just with how fast, just with race and everything, it's tough to get everything going. So hopefully we can be a little bit better on that side next year. But yeah, so. Back what I was saying, I get lost so quick. But
we all do.
Back to saying about if you want to bring cash, just email that email, and then bring the cash when you come to the ride, and then we'll be selling tickets here all week.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. And so, like, all skill, doesn't matter what kind of skill level you are on a bike. Anyone, they can go mountain bike, anything like that. They can just go sign up.
Any bike you want. I mean, my little brother does it. Last year we had obviously us pros who do a lot of road biking, or even just had some people who never even really rode a bicycle before, rode a bicycle but like don't bike very often, who did it, and that's actually what I want to see. I don't want to see just us guys who are road biking and like do this for a living. I want to see everyone get together and just have all sorts of people there and just have some laughs. And we're actually, I forgot to mention, we're actually having food catered. It'll be it's called the High Creek Farms. Last year we went to Cowbell, which was really cool, and obviously which I really wanted to do again this year. But just makes more sense to have it here, and we can. Obviously, there's a lot of property here, and we can do our social distancing and do everything, I think, a little bit more proper here. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's pretty awesome how, like, the motocross community can all rally together and get behind a cause, and it's like a big community, and it's just pretty cool that everyone kind of supports it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a big thing for me when I first started doing it was I was like, I didn't want to, like, seem like I was, like, just, like, I don't know, wanting attention. And I know the big thing for me to overcome, and I just kind of came to realize that like man, like what I'm doing is definitely for the right thing, and like I've had a lot of people open up, and it's opened up my eyes. People that I've never thought that would want to come and talk to me and like open up, and I feel like I've done what I set out to do, but obviously like as a racer I always want to do better, and I want to keep growing this throughout my career, and just I just want to be, if anyone needs anyone to talk to, and I'm an open book. So
That's awesome that you can make a difference. Even just with I was announced my ride that I was gonna do home from here to Calgary. Obviously, I haven't actually said this publicly, but I'm not actually able to do the ride this year just with how late it goes and how late the series is, and going from Deschambault is an extra like 800 or 1,000 kilometers, so it just didn't really work out this year. I'm hoping I can do it next year though. It's kind of a bummer that I was kind of getting ready to trying to get everything lined up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no. And then like at one point I'm like, are we even gonna go racing? Like, it's kind of hard to make a plan, so I think I'm just gonna put it off till next year, and hopefully gives me a little more time to kind of get everything rolling too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's tough, like kind of organizing that kind of stuff. Also trying to, like, imagine even for you it's a lot harder. You're on your own program, trying to organize just getting out here and alone, and then you'd have to get everything home, and it's not hard organizing it. So man, I give you props, and yeah, hopefully it all plans out next year. And man, if it planned out, I'd love to do it with you. Yeah,
we were talking about that on our little bike ride the other day. It'd be sweet if you could, if the schedule lined up where it gave you enough time to ride home, to ride to Calgary, and then get back in time for Supercross or however the schedule ends up being. But
yeah, that'd be sick. And I mean, once schedule releases, we'll have to talk.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
be sweet.
So was there ever a point where you're like, man, I don't even know if we're gonna be going racing this year, like in the preseason?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I really didn't believe we were gonna go racing until, I'd say, like, for sure 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, like, I guess like it's kind of happening, but like all the way up to that point, it was like, there's no way they can delay it any longer. There's no way we're gonna start in August. Like, if they're making a change, it's gonna be canceled, and obviously that's not what anyone wants. But yeah, so I was just like, I don't know, just train like it's gonna happen, just act like it's gonna happen. If it doesn't, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, there's times I was like, it's hard to like get that motivation and go ride, but I mean, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you that. Is like any point where like during all of it where you're kind of thinking, man, maybe we're not going racing. How was like the mental battles trying to keep yourself going and stay on the program and everything like that?
It's tough. I mean, just doing the same thing every day, and yeah, like not having that like end goal of like, all right, we're gonna go racing, and then because I feel like the off season is like such a grind, and like you really look forward to go racing, because once you're racing, like racing's honestly the easier part. You get to chill through the week, like do light road bike rides, light workouts. You're not like pounding motos, pounding the road bike or mountain bike, and like going home and like crashing on the couch.
Yeah.
You're like, you have more time. Like, you want to go golf, you have time to go golf, and like during like the season. And so I feel like we all kind of look forward to racing. Like, that's like kind of what motivates us to like work harder, and obviously winning. That's what.
Yeah.
Or succeeding. Everyone likes to like have that goal and reach that goal. And when you're like doing the exact same thing that you would if you had that goal, but not knowing if you're gonna be able to even go race to achieve it, it's like, man, this is tough. And but when I had Dylan and Ryder at Gopher pretty much the whole time. They both went home for a little bit and then came back. But yeah, so it was, I saw Dylan go ride. He's champion, so I'm not gonna just go watch him ride. I'm just gonna watch him work out, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna ride. Like, I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do. But I don't know. I enjoy riding my dirt bike. We all do, and I feel so. Yeah, I never really got too burnt out of riding, but there was a point where I was like, man, I need a break.
Yeah, you got a lot of hours on your bike, your practice bike, this in the preseason?
Yeah, I went through a couple practice bikes, but if I could add them up right on my top of my head, I'd say I'd be close to 150 hours on a practice bike. And that was from like January till like my current practice bike right now. But I put a lot of hours on the Honda from the time I was allowed to ride it till we had snow in Ontario, which was pretty late. So if I added that, that's probably another 20 to 30.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, I went through 2 practice. I'm on my second practice bike. I think it's probably have like 100 hours, but I didn't start riding until March.
Yeah.
And then I came back and quarantined and didn't ride for like another 2 or 3 weeks, and there's still snow on the ground. So
Still a lot of hours for.
yeah, more than usually I come into the season with like, because I'm usually, this is the first year I haven't worked full time coming into the season, so usually I have like 25 hours on my bike for the season, but it's been kind of nice.
Yeah. I saw Dom podium yesterday.
Yeah, she had a great day actually. It's kind of like she thrives in those conditions where it's like ruddy and technical and like kind of the track's a lot slower.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked into her favor, and then yeah, she rode awesome. She got first moto. She started off super slow, got like a 13th place start, and then got back up to 5th. And then second moto, she got like didn't get a great start, but somehow she came out 3rd, and then passed into 2nd and just rode awesome. So that's pretty good.
Yes. I mean, obviously you didn't have the best weekend, but it's at least rewarding seeing your wife go out and like kill it. At least it's like, I mean, not like you're saying to yourself, I hate being here, but it's obviously it's hard to like sit here and like be super stoked because like you had a crap weekend. I mean, I know if you're like me, I'm like, all right, I want to go race next weekend, but it's pretty cool to at least have some positive vibes into the tent.
Yeah, I was joking around. I'm like, at least one person's made this trip worth it so far. But yeah, no, it's been awesome coming out here. I've never really done this before where I just, like, I'm always flying in and out, so it's been pretty cool. We went out and stayed at Gopher for a few weeks before. Me and you did some mountain bikes, some road bikes, riding together a little bit. So it's actually been super fun. Went to Hayden Halstead's place for a couple weeks after Gopher, and that was awesome. It's been pretty fun. Like, it's not as fun or funner than I expected. I just never experienced it before, I guess.
Yeah. Random fact. I think the weekend off, it might have been the Friday of our weekend off. You were in Port Dover.
Oh yeah.
It was you, Hayden, Dom, and Hayden's
Meg.
Yeah, Meg. And yeah, we were like up in like a balcony, and like I could like see down and see you guys. But like if I looked over, like it was like a balcony, and then there was a lower balcony, but it was a roof on it, so I couldn't like see you guys. But like I had like ducked down to see you guys because my buddy that I was with pointed out there was Hayden, and then you guys were there as well. And then I'm like, I can't yell because then like people are gonna look at me, and you're probably not even gonna be able to see me. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Dom was saying you sent her a message, but yeah, it's funny because I think we were sitting in that exact same table, is that 211 or whatever that place is?
Maybe.
We were sitting in that place, like probably the same table, like an hour before. We just went down to the pier and then walked back, and then you sent a snap to Hayden, so it's pretty funny. You're sitting in like the same table.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's always cool seeing moto guys in like a town that you live in, or like, because I actually live in Simcoe now, which is only like 15 minutes from Port Dover, so.
Oh yeah, Simcoe. That's right by Hayden's house too.
Yeah,
I think it's like 15
not too
minutes.
far from Hayden, so it's always cool. I remember I grew up in Woodstock, which is like the town you pull off of when you're heading to Gopher from the 401, and like growing up, the rigs would always park at the hotel right there. So I remember like as a kid, I'm like, this is so sick, dude, with all the rigs there, and it was always cool seeing like I've never really seen pros in the town, but like, I mean, over the years you obviously see people in your town. It's cool. I always loved Gopher weekend for that reason.
Yeah, cool. I had another question, but I can't think of what it was.
I got one for you guys here. So outside of like winning or having a good race, what's your favorite part about riding? Like, why do you keep staying on a bike?
I mean, every time that I don't ride a dirt bike for a couple weeks, I miss like just like, I don't know, like just like the adrenaline you get, like that feeling you get of just like feeling of just going super fast and like everything clicking. I miss that feeling, and like man, I want it. And like I think that's why when I'm training and riding, I think that's also kind of what motivates me. Is I like that feeling. Like there's nothing beats that feeling when you're like, man, I am going fast right now. I don't know, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think we've talked about it before on the podcast before, but yeah, for me it's like, yeah, that same kind of thing where you just like everything's clicking, everything's flowing, and it's like you cannot beat that feeling. And then just like, I don't know, I just love that feeling at the end of the day where you're just like, man, I felt sick out there. I was just like, I pounded it out. You're like looking at your heart rate data. I'm like, man, I was like 180 heart rate for 30 minutes, and It's like knowing that you laid it all out there for the day. It's like that's a pretty satisfying feeling.
Yeah, and like that is a really good feeling, and like even just like aside from like the training aspect of everything, and or just like I don't know. I think we've all rode a dirt bike, and like it's hard to explain to a person who doesn't ride a dirt bike like that feeling of riding a dirt bike. Like even if you're just riding in the field or going as fast as him and I are, it's like I don't know. You're riding a dirt bike. It's just
grabbing gears.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's hard to explain that feeling. It's hard to explain dirt bikes in general just to people who don't get it. Like obviously, like I got a girlfriend like in the fall, and she didn't really know much about dirt bikes or her family, and just trying to explain just how even racing works. It's hard to explain because obviously racing's one thing, but each racing is different. Like obviously we're a lot different than like Formula One or like NASCAR.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to explain like, well, why do you race twice or like qualify? What's qualifying? Like,
so you race in the morning?
Yeah.
Why is everyone going out at different time? Why are they not going behind the gate together?
Yeah, it's hard to explain like racing and just riding dirt bike to people who don't, but yeah, it's cool because then like my girlfriend got a bike in the spring, and like she's never really rode a dirt bike before, and now she loves ripping. And it's kind of dangerous for me.
Did it kind of give you a new perspective on the sport or anything, trying to teach someone or explain those?
Definitely, and it's definitely helped my patience level. It's like just do it. She'll just ask me a question and be like what do I need to do when I'm doing this? And I'm like, well, like just do this, and then she'll go do it. She's like, I can't do it. I'm like, just do it. Like, what do you mean? Like,
something that just comes so naturally to you that it's kind of hard to be like, wow, how can you not just like do that? Like just shift and do this or whatever.
And I know sometimes she'll be like, well, this person told me to do this. I'm like, I do it that way then. I don't know. Like, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's awesome to see, and actually we spent a lot of time obviously during COVID doing that with being able to ride Gopher, and she bought a bike off of Gopher, which was cool. And then Dylan's girlfriend rides now, and Dario Zecca, who spent a lot of time at Gopher as well, his girlfriend was riding. So and then Ryder's little sister started riding a lot more. So it's super cool to see a lot of people get into moto, and honestly get into moto for different reasons than you and I are into moto, and it's good for a sport. They're buying bikes, and that's why we're racing. So it's cool to see.
Oh, cool. Think of your question yet?
I can't think of it.
I do that a lot. I went up to someone I think yesterday, and I was like, "Hey," like what? I'm like, never mind. I don't know what I wanted to tell you.
Walk across the pits to go talk to someone. Like, oh, I can't even remember who was I going to see.
Yeah. Anyway, how's your day? Like, that's the worst. But
yeah. So looking forward to Walton this weekend. Hopefully she doesn't rain again.
Yeah. I hope we got our rain out of the way. Yeah. The forecast doesn't look too good though. No. But
they don't know what they're talking about a week.
I
like why even bother? Yeah. Why even bother putting a forecast out for 7 days, 14 days? Like you have no clue what's gonna happen.
Well, they weren't even calling for that rain Saturday night, and just came in.
Yeah, it said 40% chance of rain. I'm
like 1 mil.
Yeah. All of us were surprised when we woke up, and it was like, I know I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I think it's supposed to rain, and then I'm like, oh, what is what it is. Probably be perfect for tomorrow, because like Saturday was pretty dry, and like I remember a lot of people were hounding Barry, the track guy here. They're like, put more water. So he did, and then everyone's like biting their tongues. And oops.
Yeah, it actually might have been pretty good if they didn't water it, because there was that one section of track where they changed it, like after the finish line where you go right, you used to go straight. There's that one strip of track, it looked mint.
Yeah,
but everything else is just swamped out.
Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. If it didn't water, it wouldn't have rained.
Yeah, exactly.
And yesterday would have been Dust Bowl or something. So that's the thing about the sport too, or even motocross. It's like expect the unexpected.
Yep. That's kind of what's fun about it too. Is every day you show up something different.
Yeah.
Even at the same track, it's totally different.
Yeah, 2 days of racing the same track, and all 3 motos were totally different condition.
And it'll probably be different next Sunday too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially after all week of the amateurs riding in, like moisture. Well, punching the mic here. The moisture getting into it, and then that's why I've always liked racing. At the end of the week, it's like I feel like the track's like the sickest on the last day. Just like
totally.
They've been pounding water into it all week, and then it obviously rains one day through the week, and so it's a lot of moisture in the ground. But let's hope it rains. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and hopefully that's it.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm
Yes.
racing this year. It's cool to watch mud motos, but it's never fun to be part of them.
Yeah. I think I would like mud racing a lot better if I wasn't like worried about blowing my bike up or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, or if I wasn't like 5'4".
yeah, that's a problem too. I have.
And we were kind of talking about this. Riding in the mud's actually kind of fun. It's a good time. Racing in the mud, different situation.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like my mechanic yesterday was between Moto 2 and 3 or 1 and 2 of Sunday. Like we barely made it to the line, and like he was pinning it just so like because we had to change a tire, a clutch, just like little things. I had like a hose break, so he had to fix it, and like. Man, he was pinning it wide open, and like even my dad just kind of stepped in just to help a little bit, and like I give like props to the people who made that second moto, and all of us actually like they're announcing like 2 minutes to staging close, and there's just like a big lineup at staging. Everyone's last minute just because like it's tough. I think it's like in the schedule maybe it's an hour between the time we come off and we have to go back up for staging, but realistically by the time you come off and you actually get your back to your pit and like get situated, it's like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and that goes by fast.
You can
Not
spend
when you're on the
45
track.
minutes washing a bike
Oh,
out
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff yesterday was super sticky. It took
Yeah.
like 5 to 10 minutes just to get off my boots. So give the mechanics props, and it was gnarly.
Yeah, at least now you're allowed to run a different bike. Because I remember back in the day when we had a mud race in Morden, Manitoba in like 2012 or 2011 or something, and I blew my bike up in the first moto, and I didn't even make the second moto because like by the time I washed the bike, I pulled my practice bike motor out. I was gonna swap it into my race. I didn't even get halfway there.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the best things they did was just, I mean, everyone's got 2 bikes, and like, let's be real, like yeah, if you have a second bike and you're not like, why aren't you allowed to race it? Like you're obviously racing the best bike as your first bike anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's what you're
Well,
kind of.
I don't know how many bikes would have finished if you had to ride the same one all day yesterday, because that first moto was hard on some bikes. They were smoking, coming across the line
like
pretty bad.
First, second lap, you're like this
Yeah.
thing's just pouring coolant.
Yeah, my bike actually, I had a little problem the first couple laps. It was smoking, but it was just like it was a coolant hose, so it was hitting like the pipe and burning. It was nothing like, the bike was fine, but I'm like, oh no. But it's a Honda. It lasts us forever.
Yeah. Hondas are old reliable Hondas.
Can't be it.
Alright, got anything else? You guys anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I can sit and talk all day once I get talking, but I mean,
Yeah.
like trying to think of something. I'm always like,
Yeah, once you're on the spot.
Yeah,
I think I
that's-
put a thing out on Instagram. Let's see if we got any questions.
While you check that out, so we had a couple of your teammates on. We knew their answer. Curious to hear from you. What's your favorite track?
on the series right now.
Well,
or
let's say the normal West Coast was in there and everything.
That's hard to say too, because this would be my 3rd year of like racing the Triple Crown, and the West has changed every single year.
That's true.
So I'd say out of all 3 years, I'd say I'm a big fan of Deschambault. I've always had good luck there. It's like one of those tracks you go there and you're just like, this is my place. And it just kind of gives you the extra little edge of confidence and stuff. But McNabb Valley, obviously not last year, but in 2018 was sick. Did
It
you
was
ride it that year?
awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was sick.
It looked kind of similar-ish to this. Maybe not quite the elevation.
Similar
but
dirt.
Similar
like,
dirt.
Similar dirt. Yeah.
grass.
Yeah, similar dirt, but just like the way that track flowed was sick. And
Yeah.
the elevation was super sick, and yeah, pretty actually. Yes, with the what do they call it? Like the valley section here, it's pretty similar, like up and down. And
Yeah.
what about you?
McNabb
You
was-
probably answered already on one of your.
Yeah,
shows.
I think
What's yours?
McNabb or I like Calgary on National Day, but
Yeah, so do I. Last year I really liked it. I mean, I feel like I like any track that I do good at. And
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
Any track I don't do good at. So
what's your least favorite track you've raced at on the National Series?
I didn't know. I wasn't a big fan of Popcom. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like a track like that second moto yesterday where it's like deep ruts and like super technical kind of suits more of what I like. And Popcom was the opposite, just super fast and like little holes and choppy, and yeah, I was kind of scared racing that track. We were going so fast, and like I wasn't too excited about the track, but I mean not gonna like every track we ride, obviously, but yeah, I'd have to say Popkin was my least favorite. I hope
You glad
they're
we're not
watching and don't
you
like
glad-
me now. But
Sorry. Glad we're not going to Moto Park, or happy to have 2 rounds at Walton, or
I honestly think Motor Park would have been good. Like Motor Park's kind of like that as well. It's super fast, and but then again, I like Motor Park. Maybe just because it's close to home. I don't know.
No, I actually went there last week. I actually really liked the track. I just don't know how well it would race, or
Yeah, I know like a lot of people who like are there for like when they're doing their Walton prep, and they I guess they till it pretty deep, and it gets like deep ruts, and like not what your typical Motor Park is, and they were saying that's what they probably would have done. And I feel like if it was like that, a little bit more technical and slow down, it would have been really good to race. And but I mean, I know they've been talking for a couple of years. They've wanted to go there, and it'd be cool just to go there and see like how it is and how it would be, especially if they did till it and like got it like the people were saying like how it does before Walton. But I don't know. I mean, every track has its goods and bads, and
same for everyone, right?
yeah, when the gauge drops, the track's the same for everyone.
You got any plans to try to hit any race? Well, not this year because it's tough with the COVID thing, but in the future, any plans to go south and do any racing or overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to do some. I know like Dylan did Geneva last year, and Derek mentioned some. Maybe I could do it this year, but some overseas races would be sweet. I enjoy racing like Supercross, and like those overseas Supercross are always kind of like perfect timing for us. They're a little bit after our season, and then we have a big break after. But I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted to race AMA Supercross. If it happens, I don't know. It's tough, especially if you do West Coast. A lot of travel will go out there, and a lot of money, and then Supercross in general is a lot of risk. And this is where I get paid to race dirt bikes is here in Canada, so it's a lot of risk to take to go. I mean, yeah, I get a lot of good experience out of there, and like obviously accomplish some goals of mine. But you gotta look at the goods and bads, everything, and kind of play out the best scenario. And yeah, I mean, I think eventually like at least do a couple Supercross races, but who knows?
They're pretty cool. How about any like AMA outdoors or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually wanted to do. I think the original schedule we could have done 2 of them, Budds Creek and Ironman this year, but obviously not now. And I was stoked for that because like I know Dylan's gone quite a few times and he wanted to go too, and I think it would have been cool. But I mean, next year probably if we're allowed over the border and everything, I don't see why not. Especially if they're after our nationals. It'd be cool to go get the experience.
Cool.
Yeah.
You did one last year?
I did watch Shugo, but I blew my bike up, so I didn't get to race.
Oh, damn.
Last year was rough.
Pardon?
Last year was rough. Just like nothing but problems. Got hurt, bike problems, had no bikes for a while, popped my shoulder out. It's like one thing after another. But it's racing.
Yeah. Washugo looks like a sick track. Have you been there besides that weekend? Or
I went there to watch like a long time ago, maybe like 2010 or something, but was that the year we went?
I think so.
But yeah, other than that, I had never rode there. Track was like kind of like popcummy with like just the way the dirt was, had like almost more Nanaimo-y with like how hard the base was. It was like surprisingly slippery. So
it looks sick on TV, like just like floating through the trees.
Oh yeah, the layout's awesome. And it's
I think it was last year. Was it like Cincerello and Justin Cooper? Was that who battled?
It was amazing. It was. I think it was. It might have been Ferrandis and Cincerello. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was one of the star racers, and man, that looks sick.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy to watch Tomac down there too. Like, man, like you get such a different appreciation for the racers when you go down there and watch. Like in person, it's like wow, like the stuff he was doing, just making everyone else look silly. It was. Incredible.
That's how that's like anything where it's watching like the Leafs game last night. Of course they lost, and we're just like it's just crazy the difference between TV and real life. Like I went to a game in the fall and then watching it on TV now too. It's just like gives you a different appreciation of like how fast those guys skate or like how hard they shoot. And same thing goes for moto. Like
even a pass, right?
Yeah.
How hard they pass the puck is as hard as an average guy can shoot.
Exactly, harder than I can shoot. Tell that for free.
Yeah. And then you watch a guy like Tomac on a dirt bike, and I mean, as a pro racer, you can really appreciate the things he does on a bike because it's just unreal.
Yeah, going to Destinations in 2018 was probably the biggest eye opener of like, maybe not, I wouldn't say eye opener, but like for sure eye opener, but like just like shock just watching those guys. Like, and I didn't really get to watch. I never watched them in the dry. It was in the mud, but like all those guys, Hurlings, even Prado on his 250 against those guys. Like, it's like wow. Yeah. And I think I go fast on a dirt bike.
Yeah. Yeah, some days when you're feeling your flow, you're like, man, I'm a badass, and then you just like watch those guys, and you're like,
that's
Jesus.
the cool thing about the sport. I can go out there, feel like a badass, but I'm still 10 seconds off the pace. You go out there, you feel like a badass, you're still 10 seconds off the pace of someone faster, right? Like, it never really stops.
Yeah, like, and like, I know like they do Destinations and everything, but like, there's never really any guy that's like, obviously like say Hurlings right now, everyone's like, oh, he's the fastest man on the planet, but like that's not like a guaranteed fact, and like I think it'll be forever an argument like America versus Europe, but like everyone's like, no, Tomac, like, when Tomac's on, he's the fastest, and everyone's like, no, when Hurlings is on, he's the fastest, and like it'd be really, really rare to ever see them like match up and like see who's really the fastest. And like,
you have to do it over a series. You can't do one race. It just doesn't do justice. I mean, it's something, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and like to get them both like on the same race would be like that'd be nuts. Yeah. That's when you can say who's the fastest.
I heard some kind of crazy idea about doing like combining some MXGP rounds and some US rounds for like just taking like the top 20 from each series and just like throwing in like mid-series. That'd be crazy.
That'd be
cool.
Sick. Yeah. I know like the GPs did come to the States, and the States guys raced them because it was after their nationals, but like same thing, like they kind of just I think Cooper Webb was riding 250s, he hopped on a 450 and like kind of things like that. But like if it was like for money and for points, like people would be bringing their A game, and like that'd be sweet.
A little different.
Well, it sounds stupid and it's adding races, but I think it would be cool to kind of do a playoff with all the riders from around the world, right? Like you say, okay, we got 5-round series, and the top 10 out of each of those guys in their series goes into another series, and they got 5 more races. And
that would be kind of sick.
Yeah.
Just like it would definitely draw a lot of attention to the sport, I think, because you got people from all over around the world, and the biggest thing I think would be like getting it on like a lot of TV networks. Like hockey's so easy to watch, so you can flip it on your TV and it's there. Like moto, like it's so hard to find sometimes. Like it's hard, like you have to go buy like a pass to watch the GPs, and I'm like, well, I'm racing pretty much every time they're racing, so I really don't want to buy this pass to go watch a race. I've already seen the results. But
so you touched a bit on wanting to achieve some goals later, and what are your goals for this year, next year? What do you want out of riding in the 250 class, let's say?
I mean, obviously I want to be a champion. I mean, that's always what I've wanted to be since I was a kid, and I feel like every year I'm like a little bit closer, and but still not where I want to be. But this year, I mean, it hasn't really gone to plan. I thought I'd be obviously just that Gopher didn't go the way I wanted to start off the year, and then just still feeling the effects obviously this weekend. But I just want to improve each weekend, just become a podium guy this year, and kind of put myself in situations like I did yesterday in that third moto, just fighting for the win and getting that taste of a win, and hopefully I can get a moto win or an overall. That'd be ideal, and then obviously fight for the championship next year, and in the end of the day I want to be a champion. That's all I think about when I'm training, when I'm riding. It's what I do it for. It's what I put all my hard work into, is to be a champion, and then obviously move up to the 450 class the next couple of years would be ideal, 2 to 3 years. But it's so hard to make a plan in this sport. It changes every day. Everything every week something's different, and just, I mean, you obviously set out a plan, but it's not obviously going to go according to plan. But yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have one injury. Let's say tweak a knee in a corner, that can take you out for the whole year. So your plan's shot right there, or you're moving up too quick, and who's to say when's the right time too?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of got to let things come to you in this sport, and you just never know, and you got to be at the right place at the right time to get an opportunity, and just it's kind of crazy how it all plays out in that way. And like I said, you obviously plan, I want to do this and this, and this is the plan. Try and stick to it as much as you can, but I don't think anyone really sticks to their plan as they want to.
It's funny, the older I get here, the more I realize timing really does play a lot into everything, right? Like, you can want something super bad, but if the timing just isn't right, you're going to grind yourself into the pavement just fighting for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if you look at it, like, obviously, it could be totally different, but say Dylan won 2 years ago in 2017 or 2018 or whatever, and went 450 last year. Maybe, might not go as well, or just like maybe that was perfect for him to have those couple years struggle, learn, and then win, and then go in the 450 class when he's on top of the 250 class, and just, or say for instance, say that I know he was planning on going 450 this year no matter what, if he won or didn't win, and say he didn't win, and like this year could be totally different for him. He's like, I find that's kind of crazy in this sport too. I mean, I feel like that's any sport. Like a hockey team, if they're winning, they're gonna be clicking, and like just confidence goes such a long way.
Momentum. Yeah, and I find like anyone that's super successful at almost any sport is like super adaptable to any kind of circumstances. They'll make the best out of anything. If things don't maybe go right, they're able to adapt and get back and maybe rebuild and learn and put it forward. So that's like a super important thing if you want to be successful, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And that, and just like if stuff does go bad, they're just like they're not too low on their lows, not too high on their highs, just kind of staying mediocre and sticking to the goal.
So you got a 2-year deal with GDR?
Yeah, 2020 and 2021.
You think we'll have a real series next year?
I hope so.
Or this is a real series, but West Coast, East Coast
like
series?
a normal series. I sure hope so.
I think for sure. I mean, like, I like that's one thing about like Canadian moto is that like we literally go from one coast to the next coast. Like, I mean, the States kind of does the same thing, but they'll go from like, I don't know, Florida to like Massachusetts to
all over
Tennessee.
The
place. We're like, it's pretty cool that we get to go race the West Coast and then you come race the East Coast. It's like, it's almost two different series in one, but it's not, because like the West Coast is completely different than the East Coast, and like, and that's what kind of makes up a championship. Like obviously the situation that we're in, it's sick that we're even able to go racing, but like this whole East Coast is like a lot. Even though we're at a hard pack track, it's not like a hard pack track out west, or even though we're at the sand track, it's not like a sand track out west. Like, it's just crazy how it's 4,000 kilometers away. It's totally different. Everything's different. Mountains, or you got flats here. So
I think you see that a lot with the West Coast guys that come out to Walton like, oh yeah, hard pack track, I'm gonna be right at home, and then they get out there and they're like, it's just like a totally different thing.
For sure. And like, I feel like even for me to go out west, it was like I thought like I'm riding hard pack tracks here, but like they're like rutted and tacky, and then I went out west and it was like not so rutted and just like super slick, and it was like, whoa. It was just like kind of an eye opener. I never been out west until my first pro year, and like the year before I podiumed at like Deschambault and like did good in the East Coast, and then I'm like expecting myself to be right there in the West Coast of the following year, and I'm like, I don't know how to ride this stuff. But then come East Coast again, where I was comfy, I got a couple podiums and obviously did a lot better. But it's it definitely like makes the champions shine if they can manage the championship from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Well, if you can build a little points lead right there, less pressure out east here, and you can kind of perform a little better.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of people are like from the East Coast are like, all right, we just get through the West Coast, top 3 in points. I know I can do like shine on the East Coast or vice versa. Like people who like riding the West Coast, like let's try and get a good points gap and then come East Coast and manage from there.
Yeah, for sure. I find like with it being so different out west and so different out east, it's like racing the more years you race the whole series, it really helps you grow as a rider because you're riding so many different, like even Gopher to Sand Del Lee is totally different, and like there's so many different tracks. It seems like even more so than the States. It seems like the States, they're almost all kind of a little more similar, but like riding so many different kinds of tracks out here, it just kind of helps you grow as a rider and really helps your skills, I think.
Oh, for sure, and yeah, like you said, from like Gopher to Sand Del Lee, and then like let's say Sand Del Lee to Deschambault, it's totally different. Obviously, those two, I'd say Sand Del Lee and Deschambault are a little more similar than like a Sand Del Lee to Gopher.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, nothing compares to Gopher, but yeah, and then you got a hard pack track of like Calgary, which gets rutted and hard, but it's totally different than here at Walton. So it's just, yeah, like you said, you're developing a lot of skills and just like you gotta like bike setup. Like it's hard to get like a good bike setup for like you get one for out west, and then you come to Walton and like it doesn't work. And you're like,
Yeah.
man, it's like this kind of the same track, but it's not. It's hard to explain like the difference of like what you feel between these like the two tracks or like the two coasts. But I mean, I feel like most racers are on the same page. Like West Coast and East Coast are complete opposites, but it's pretty sick. We get to race both, and yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't go back there next year.
Yeah,
I was actually pretty stoked on how the series was going to go this year. How we were going to start the arena cross here on the East Coast, head west, race the West Coast arena cross right into the
like
West
a couple
Coast,
weeks before, right?
Yeah, West Coast motocross, and then head east, so that like we only had to go out there once and come back, which would have been cool, but obviously it didn't plan out. But I'm curious to see if with them not having arena cross first and having outdoors first, if they're gonna like that better, and if it's gonna change the format of how they approach it next year. And
yeah, probably. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they take anything, like any of this stuff, like the 3 moto format or anything like that, and carry it over to next year.
I mean, I feel like definitely with some of the changes, there's good things that are happening, like for the series, and like makes their lives easier, or that they like better, that they're gonna bring over to next year, I think. But in the end of the day, I still think it has to be the 3 arena cross, motocross, supercross for the Triple Crown. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how what they change, or they just go back to how this was before.
So do you enjoy the arena cross, supercross portion, or?
Yeah, I feel like I grew up riding a lot of like indoor. We had like 2 or 3 indoor tracks around my area, and they were arena crossy. And then when I was like 14, I actually lived with the Thompsons for a while, and they ran the AX tour, which was in the States.
Yeah.
And I helped out with them, like just building the tracks and whatnot. Not building the tracks. I definitely do that.
Got a new job.
helping put up banners and tough blocks. That was my job. And yeah, and then I got a race the next day and stuff. And so I got to ride a lot of arena cross. And then they actually had like a compound in Mississippi which had arena cross. And so I got to ride a lot of that, which I think helped my indoor skills. And I feel like I'm like pretty technical rider, and I enjoy supercross probably more than outdoors, to be honest. So
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Nice.
You?
I'm an outdoor guy. It's just hard because we don't have anything to ride. Like I've barely rode any indoor stuff. Like
Yeah, and it's hard to like once you're like our age, you just like it's hard. Like, you have to grow up racing it. Like you see the kids in the States, like Deegan, like he has a full blown supercross track, and like you know he's gonna be good at supercross, but like you got to, like that's how they have to be brought up now. If like that's where for the States, that's where they race, like the money is, and everything is, and that's where it's kind of everything's being pushed over to. And like obviously I was lucky enough to grow up racing a lot of arena cross, and where I feel like in Canada, like the last before Triple Crown came, like it was just outdoors, and like everyone just kind of had to focus on the outdoors, which I mean it was good. But now that we got indoor and outdoor, it's I see a lot of kids now even on 65 to 85s like riding arena cross tracks and like more. I don't know about the West Coast, but I know there's a couple new tracks in the East Coast that have Supercross, like just like private tracks or just practice tracks, which you've never seen before. And it's cool to see, and I mean I enjoy it. I think the biggest thing for me too is I like that we get a race all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, I came into I guess the pros the first year of the Triple Crown, so I don't know much of a difference of just racing like the 10-round series and then maybe doing some local races, where before when I was amateur we're racing in the States in January all the way till Mini-O's in November, and then you have a little break and then you're right back in January. So yeah, I find that might have been weird for me if I hopped in say like 16, 17, went pro and just did those 10 rounds. But yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. We get to race dirt bikes all year round pretty much, I guess March through October, and then have our off season. But yeah,
I think it's good for our series. It gives it a little more exposure, like you said, year round. Even in those down times like November, throw a Supercross, arena cross, whatever, and you're gonna capture an audience because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope I don't know. They haven't announced the Supercross. I think there's one. I don't know.
I think they're working on it.
Yeah.
I talked to Kyle. He told me kind of what they were thinking. I don't even know. Are they doing arena cross? I haven't heard anything about arena cross.
I have no idea. I honestly, I mean, thought about it just because like was so kind of surprised that this was gonna happen. Not surprised, but just like so it was so unknown if this was gonna happen. And then so yeah, I mean, thought that far, but yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if they do. Hopefully they do. But I don't know if they'll be able to do it indoors. Maybe an outdoor Supercross or something, but.
Yeah, they can't really have fans, so it's kind of pointless to rent a venue.
Yeah, and and I don't even know if we can have like all those racers and staff and stuff inside right now like that. Yeah, I know hockey does, but it's a little different.
Yeah, a lot of them are
basketball.
100 people only, or very limited.
No,
yeah,
right now in Ontario, I think it's 100 people outdoor.
Yeah.
And then indoor is like 50.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you have sports staff to put anything on with that many people. You need a lot more.
Yeah, I don't see it happening indoor. I feel like if we do any arena cross or Supercross this year, it's going to be an outdoor one. But hopefully it happens. If not, I mean, I'm just thankful we even got to go racing outdoors, and then just let's get 2020 over with and just hit the reset button. And then,
yeah, I think going back to what we were saying about like the East Coast West Coast thing and how the tracks are so different. I think that with the Triple Crown kind of coming in with this arena cross, Supercross, it's like a whole another set of skills, and it all kind of goes together with like helping grow the talent of the Canadian motocross. I think that's really going to help, the growth of it.
Oh, for sure. And then, you got racing all the time, and then it gives not only us riders more exposure, but it gives teams more exposure. Obviously doing like a full series like that's probably pretty hard for a team from just going from a 10-round series. Now we got like 15 rounds or 17 rounds, and a lot of it indoor, a lot more travel, but with it's pretty cool. We got be on live TV, and then I mean, I feel like we're getting a lot of exposure from it too. I don't know, because like I said, I never raced like the old series or nothing before, but I feel like I see a lot of stuff like on RacerX or like pretty much all over like Instagram and stuff of like Triple Crown stuff, which is cool. Hopefully that motivates like the young kids to want to race like the arena cross and their Supercross, because like I feel like it's gonna be part of our series for a long time, and I don't see it ever being like States where it's like Supercross is priority and then motocross. I feel like motocross in Canada is always gonna be priority, because it's always been priority. And
we're a little more grassroots here too, like the local scenes kind of matters more to people than TV, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was kind of just like there's a lot of people I know that were like kind of, when they first brought out the arena cross, it's like, oh, all the travel, all the more expenses, but it's like maybe it's just kind of like a growing stage where like maybe like you don't have the momentum from the last year, so you don't have like the funding it just maybe takes a couple years to get that rolling, and then maybe like 5 years down the road have a lot more momentum and be a lot more funding in the sport.
Yeah, and with it being I know there's been like arena, there's a Future West arena cross obviously in Canada before, but without really having like a arena cross, supercross in Canada ever part of like the main series. There's always like outdoors was like the pro series, and I know Future West, like there would be some pros and stuff that go to it, but like all the teams weren't like, it wasn't like part of like the CMRC series at the time, and I feel like now, you know, obviously it's part of it. People are like, the teams and the Triple Crown are obviously working together to see what works and what doesn't work, and I think it's pretty cool to see them all working together and see the people actually want us to go racing. And I don't know, I feel like another 5 years down the road it'll be pretty dialed. Honestly, like I said earlier, I thought this year's format was gonna work good. So
yeah,
I see them, if they don't change the format from just like seeing how this year went, and say they go back to arena cross, outdoors, and supercross, I see them sticking to kind of like the same format as it was supposed to be for this year.
Yeah, I totally see that too.
So as a kid growing up in the sport, did you have a Canadian rider you kind of looked up to?
Yeah, it's Colton. Because when I would have been like probably 10, 11 years old is when he kind of moved to Ontario. And then, so I see him at the track, and like, then obviously he was winning the 450 class at the time. So just like, oh, it's Colton Fasciotti. And then I got to do some riding schools with him. So like, kind of got to like have some one-on-one time with him. So it was like, you just get like that. He obviously got that extra step on like a person I've never seen before, I've never met before, and yeah, he's an awesome dude. So it's Colton, and now it's cool. It's super cool to look back at it, and then now I'm like working with him, and and just like good friend of his. So it's crazy how things like that can happen, but it's cool.
Cool. What about you? Who'd you look up to as a kid?
I'm not really sure. I don't know. I guess it was kind of like more a local scene, like Julian Cerny and Bart Stevenson, kind of, I guess. I'm sure there was. I don't know. We never really, like, my parents weren't really, like, into going to the Nationals. Like, I didn't. We never went to the watch. Even the Calgary round, we would go to, like, ride Raymond maybe that weekend, because we always, like, were focused on the Amateur National. But, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really super, like, into the scene at the time. I don't know.
Huh.
How about you?
Yeah, I guess that's tough. Just as a little kid, the most enjoyable part was running around to all the rigs, gathering up posters that just went in the garbage, really. But, I mean, definitely watching someone like Waugh and Klatt ride together. Those were some awesome rides at like Calgary even. I guess those were the only tracks I got to see them at. But those two guys, watching them race was probably the most memorable.
Yeah.
I actually remember watching Dusty here. It was when he was number 9 on Honda, so a lot like Dylan, and I think he came from like pretty far back, caught JSR, passed him and waxed him, and like this might have been 2000. It would have been like 2006 when he was number 9.
Yeah.
So I would have been like 6. So how I remember that is beyond me, but I didn't know who he was. I just knew who JSR was, and I was like really shocked. And then I remember after that like looking up to him, and then I think the next year he rode for Blackfoot, right?
That
year
he rode for Blackfoot that year.
But they went to Yamaha.
Yeah, they switched to Yamaha the following year.
Yeah, and he was number 1, and I think he actually broke his arm here. And funny story, it was like his right arm, and I run up to him like right when he gets back from the track. Like I don't know how I saw him. He's probably walking to the rig or whatever. I'm like, hey man, can you sign? I don't even know something. He's like, no, I can't. Because his right arm is broken. I was so bummed, but now looking at him like some little kid running up to him with a broken arm, probably hurting him. But it's pretty funny.
That's cool.
What do you think of like the changes they made to the track this weekend? You like it, or you like the old style better?
I like it. I think it's that was like the original way. I don't know why I can't think of they have a name for those valleys, like that section.
Oh, I don't know what they're. I can't think of it.
Not Shaw Valley.
No, that's Calgary.
Yeah.
I know they have a name though. I can't think of it.
You think I'd know, right? Been here, like I was almost born here, and I've been here every year besides 2017 when they didn't have it. You'd think I'd know the name. Anyway, that was the original way it went. It was natural, turn left, then through the valleys, and then kind of along that tree line towards the amateur finish. So I think it kind of flows a little better, just the way after the natural, that first valley section, that's like the tailtop. I think just the way it flows, it sets you up to go right.
Yeah.
And even though the next tailtop, I think it flows a little better. I don't know. Now I'm thinking of like going the other way. I'm like, maybe it does flow better the other way. I'll tell you after next weekend. How about that?
So I think I heard they're going back to the kind of the same way.
Yeah, I think this right now they might be switching it, getting it ready for the amateur week. So after the step down, you go along the fence and then the opposite way through the valleys, and then you hit the natural. So I don't know. Both ways are pretty cool. I really like that section. I know like this spring we weren't able to ride it. We were just doing right from the step down to the natural to the amateur finish, and I always miss that part. Probably my favorite part of the track, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of faster. I do like that. Like after that though, you go and then like left along the tree line towards the amateur finish. Yep. I like that section a lot that way.
Yeah, so
I kind of wish they would have left that after like you do the start, step up, right hander. There used to be those rollers, and then I like going straight there.
Yeah, so did I. But I this weekend maybe wasn't as like a good example because like yesterday the ruts were gnarly in that left-hander, but maybe this week it'll shape up pretty good because I remember before they had like step up into that infield and drop back down, it was that left-hander there, and like I thought it was sick, but again that step up that left was also think that's pretty sweet. So I don't know, I like either way. It's cool to change it out, but yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see how it shapes up this week.
Yeah, props to them for I guess at least trying to give us a little bit of a different track each weekend, so we're just not racing the same thing. But
yeah, I don't know if they're gonna go back to going up there for next weekend though. I think it's gonna stay left. The only thing they're changing is the valley section.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't work here, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I just sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That's how that's this whole meaning of this podcast. We just like to sound like we know what we're talking about. You got anything else, or?
Let me ponder for a minute. What do you got?
I got nothing. What do you got?
I don't know. What are you doing after moto? Let's talk non-moto.
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know. I want to do this podcast. Is what I want to do. I love doing it. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean they're sweet. It's like cool just to talk. Like, I mean a normal interview. Like I was just thinking of like during this normal interview. Like I'm like nervous and like it's just like it's like 2 minutes and it's like done. Like why was I nervous? And where this one like it's just like talking to you guys and your phones.
Yeah, phones. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I just like how organic it feels, and it's just like it's kind of nice to just like not be looking at your phone, and like just kind of like focus on the conversation.
Sit down and chat, and like time went by fast.
Yeah. How long have we been going?
Hour and a half.
Holy shit! I thought it was like half an hour.
Yeah, that went by fast.
So you've been talking a little hockey. Let's talk hockey then.
Okay.
Did you play as a kid?
I did until I was 9, and then my dad gave me the
choice.
Moto hockey, and you guys obviously know my answer. So
Yeah.
I played it really random, but then the year after I played summer hockey. Why? I don't know, because summer and moto and then summer hockey. But
That's weird.
yeah. So I wish I played a little longer. Obviously, like I'm happy with how everything worked out, and I love moto. But because even to this day, like when I don't really get to play hockey when I'm at home, because it's with Ontario weather, like the coldest months now are like middle of January to like start of March. You could play like some pond hockey, and
You're training.
I'm in Florida. I'm not. I sound bummed about it. I'm not bummed. Yeah. So I don't really get to play right now, but I love watching. I love the Leafs.
Are they out? Or did they make it?
They're out.
They lost last night.
I'm so confused by this playoff series.
So it's pretty much just any hockey nerds, don't judge me. I might be a little wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So the bottom 4 teams of like how it was, or it was the bottom 6. I think they took 24 teams, so it would be the bottom 6 teams were out. Like they didn't even get a chance to be in the qualifiers.
Okay.
and then I think the teams that were already guaranteed to be in the playoffs were still guaranteed to be in, and they just like played each other to be like who gets. So if
Who
you
gets
win,
first.
if you won like the West Coast, you get to play like the team that just made it in, like during the qualifiers. But then those teams that weren't guaranteed to be in the playoffs were playing each other for a spot because they only took 16 teams, so 10 teams, or no, 8. It's actually
12
8,
or whatever
12,
it
whatever
is,
it
yeah.
is. And they don't get they're obviously
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it went, but you're probably better looking at Google because
Well, I was trying
I
to
just
look it up
followed I just followed the
yesterday.
Leafs. They didn't even make it to the real playoffs, and I'm bummed.
Yeah. Well, who do they got for a hot shot right now? I thought they were trying to
Too
rebuild
many.
a team.
Yeah, they got a lot of good forwards. They got like Austin Matthews, who's like
Right.
is supposed to be like their hot shot, and then like Tavares, who's like he's obviously really good. Like Mitch Marner, those guys, Nylander, those guys get paid way too much money to play hockey. That's for sure.
Right. So, do you ever feel like you chose the wrong sport sometimes when you see the
No.
paycheck?
Yeah, no, man. I feel like to get to like the level I am at motocross in hockey would have been just like there's so many good hockey players, but there's so many of them that
It's highly political too.
yeah.
I mean, every sport is, but this one I feel like your riding does all the talking pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, and just like there's so like especially in Canada, like there's so many. Like everyone plays hockey. And I feel like you play hockey at all?
I played until I was like, I don't even know, a peewee.
Yeah.
So
So everyone played hockey as a kid. Like it's just like I feel like every parent feels like they have to put their kid in hockey. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like my kids will play hockey just because I love hockey, even though my girlfriend says no. But I don't know.
It's better than sitting at home watching TV. Like,
Yeah,
it's
for
a good
real.
sport.
That'd be a big thing. Like if I ever have kids, is trying to get them not to be gamers, even though I game, but to get into sports and just like, man, without dirt bikes, like who knows what I would have been doing? Like went to like, yeah, maybe you don't know, you get mixed in the wrong people, and just dirt bikes was like the reason. Yeah, just like my only thing I wanted to do as a kid, and like the reason I like got stuff done and got my schoolwork done was because I wanted to go racing, and it's just everything I wanted to do, and like the partying and stuff that all my friends started doing in high school, I had no interest in because I had to go racing the next day. I wasn't going partying, so
I mean, you hear that out of so many racers. It's like, if I wasn't racing, I probably would have gone down the wrong path. Because you're an adrenaline chaser or whatever, right? So if you don't have that sport to go chase, you're going to chase it in the wrong area. So.
yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate how easy it is to get mixed up in the wrong areas, but yeah, I'm so thankful for dirt bikes, and just obviously my parents, like my dad, he really loved dirt bikes, and just loved us going racing, and obviously he wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it so bad, and like to me, looking back at it, like I knew no difference. It was just like, I'm gonna go ride my dirt bike. I don't care about anything else. Like, let's just go ride dirt bikes. Like, not a big deal. And it's crazy how like if I wasn't like that, how it could have been different. But like I knew no different.
Is there anything you felt like you missed out on as a kid because you're so focused on dirt bikes?
I only did one semester of high school, and I did online school after that. So I didn't do like any prom or anything. But I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, zero
It's overrated.
cares.
I didn't go to prom, but I got to go race Loretta's. So
Yeah.
That's almost way better.
yeah. So I mean, there's two sides of looking at every situation, and I definitely got the better end of the stick.
What do you think is the biggest life skill you've learned out of racing riding?
It's way too hard to pick one. Like, I'm 14 years old, living in a box van in the middle of Mississippi. I got to learn a lot of things real quick, like how to cook, how to wash, how to take care of my dirt bike, take care of myself, and like you got to grow up really fast. So there's a lot of life skills you learn at a really young age, like as a motocross racer. And I feel like that just sports in general nowadays, like kids are dedicated really young, and it teaches you a lot of life lessons, and yeah, it's pretty awesome that I'm super thankful for it. Obviously, like from 14, I didn't want to be cooking or doing all that stuff, and now I'm like super happy I got put in that situation.
Yeah, it's almost kind of hard to imagine your life without racing because like your whole life shapes around it. Like everything is motivated by going or racing or how you're gonna get to go racing or how you're gonna get your the results you want. So it's kind of like, man, I don't even know. I have zero idea what my life would look like without it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it's even to this day. Like I'm like I feel like it's a lot different racing now than it was when I was a kid, and I still like I don't know. I just like even as a kid, or I don't know. Like I can't look back at any memory that didn't include a dirt bike, or any day that doesn't include a dirt bike, or something to do for dirt biking, or something. It's like it gets overwhelming at times, but so does everything else. Like it's life, but it's pretty sweet. Like I think a big thing I love about moto is like it's like all one big family, and I know you probably hear this a lot. Everyone's kind of it's why we love moto. We're obviously going to talk about why we love it, and it's because just like it's all one big family. It's pretty cool how, like you said, all this is put together, and just like how bad people want to go racing because how much we love it, and they easily could have said, you know what, let's just cancel this year. Let's go racing next year, but like they love it just as much as you and I love it, and it's like that's why we love it because just like it's such a sweet like inner family and like
community and
yeah. And the end of the day, we're all competitors, and like when you and I line up, like I don't want to get beat by you. You don't want to get beat by me, but come up the track and like we can kind of put racing to the side, and you know it's like we're you and I. You're from Calgary, Alberta. I'm from Woodstock, Ontario, and we're in the same spot right now. And like if it wasn't for dirt bikes, it wouldn't like that. We would have never met each other. You wouldn't have met probably anyone that's in your life right now because it wasn't for dirt bikes.
My whole circle would look totally different. Every single person I know, every single person I talk to regularly, is like, if I met him from moto, like I can't even think of one person. I talk to like one friend I know from high school, like every couple months, but that's it. Like everyone I know is from moto.
Same here, and I feel like all of us are like that. I mean, it's just because we all like have the same passion, and when that's the case, it's pretty easy to get along with people who love the same thing you do.
Yep. Really.
Damn, I just had a fucking question again and I lost it.
Yeah.
So what do you got any, obviously you're pretty young and you have a long racing career ahead of you, but any thoughts on what you'd want to do after racing or?
Yeah, like it's moto. It's hard to plan when after racing's gonna be, but I have a couple ideas like that I want to do, and like honestly, up to this year, I didn't really know what I want to do. Like obviously, still want to be part of moto and stuff, but I feel like if I venture off at a moto after dirt bikes, it's gonna be the only other thing I love than dirt bikes is coffee. So I think I'd do something with coffee, to be honest with you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, what's your favorite coffee?
Dungy's doing it, and Cole Sealy.
Yeah.
You got a favorite coffee place or coffee brand?
Honestly, I try different coffee all the time. I don't stick to the same coffee. Favorite coffee place? No, because I'm always like looking for. As one thing in like 2018 I did when I went to like some tracks or somewhere new. I try and find like a local coffee shop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I still try and do it like anywhere, like any little town I go to. I'm like, instead of going to Tim Hortons, I'll try and go to like a local coffee shop.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And just like see just ideas and like I don't know.
Well, some of those little places have the coolest scenery inside of them, stuff you never get to see going into a car marshal's place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever tried Kicking Horse Coffee?
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
Kicking Horse should sponsor this podcast.
They should. They should. I actually just had it. Just bought it like a couple weeks ago because I bought like a coffee grinder for the beans.
Yeah.
And it was like the first thing there I saw. I'm like, yeah, I'll grab that.
Yeah, it's our go-to.
Yeah.
Punching the mic again.
These flies are nuts, eh?
Oh, the flies here are crazy.
I've been seeing them land. Oh, there's one on the camera right now.
That's awesome.
Of course. But, yeah. Cool.
Alright, you got anything else, or you want to wrap it up, or?
I think that's it. I've drank this whole water and go to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for your time. Everyone check out, we'll put the link up on the Instagram, YouTube. Check out to donate to Tanner's charity and donate to the foundation. Also, we got these shirts. I don't know if you can see them in the shot. Can you get them on the shot? Shirts for sale.
I should have worn mine.
Yeah, you bought one. So yeah.
Should have worn mine, but
Got to represent the Honda though.
Could have represented here, wore it here, but
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out today, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't too prepared.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy going.
All right. Thanks for your time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
time.
much.
Have a good race this weekend.
Thank you.
See ya.